guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new here. If you missed my last two videos, then you guys don't know, but I am pregnant with our second baby right now. So if you missed those two videos, make sure to go check those out. I did a pregnancy announcement video and how we found out, and then also a video vlogging our first ultrasound and time seeing our little baby. Today's a very good day. I had my Starbucks. If you guys know, I am obsessed with oat milk. I started drinking oat milk when I was pregnant with Harper because she had colic, and eventually I developed an intolerance for lactose. So now I really have no other choice but to drink non-dairy milk. So Starbucks finally has oat milk, and I have been so obsessed with the chai with oat milk. That is like my favorite thing right now. I am having one of those pregnancies where I cannot drink coffee. It sounds absolutely disgusting to me. And I have drinking coffee every single day since I was like in high school, including my entire pregnancy with Harper. So this one has been a lot different. I can't stand the smell of coffee. The thought of drinking hot coffee in the morning makes me want to throw up. So I've been drinking these every morning at home, but I did get one from Starbucks today along with some food. I'm feeling good. I got dressed, I did my makeup. I also got to listen to the baby's heartbeat today, so it is just a good day. So if you watched my pregnancy announcement video, I briefly touched on the topic of how I got pregnant after having a miscarriage, and specifically how I got pregnant so quickly after having a miscarriage, technically within 2 to 3 weeks. So I wanted to go into more detail in this video. Before we jump into this video, I feel like this is a very important video to make some disclaimers before we start. Number one, I am not a doctor. I'm not claiming to be a doctor, give any medical advice or anything like that. It is important to keep in mind that if you are trying to get pregnant or try any new products or anything like that, make sure to first do your own research. I did plenty of research for myself, and then most importantly, make sure to talk to your own doctor, which is something that I did as well before I started anything that I was doing. The second thing to keep in mind is that everybody's bodies are different, everybody's pregnancies are different, everybody's situations behind fertility and miscarriage is going to be different. So keep that in mind. I'm just here to share my story, how I got pregnant so quickly, and the products and stuff that worked for me. So if you guys are curious on knowing that, then keep watching this video. So where do we begin? To start off, like I mentioned in my last video, I had a miscarriage back in December. And after I had that miscarriage, we decided that we were going to start fully trying. And when I say trying, I mean that in the past, like when we had Harper, we were basically trying not to prevent pregnancy, but we weren't like actively trying super hard to get pregnant. When I got pregnant with my miscarriage, it was the same thing. We kind of were just like, if I get pregnant again, it happens. If it takes a little bit longer, that's okay too. But with that pregnancy, I did get pregnant very, very quickly as well. So this time we decided that we were actually going to try. After I had my miscarriage, of course, I talked to my doctor. I ran some things by her. My miscarriage was earlier on, so I naturally did everything at home. The process completed itself and my body was able to kind of get back to normal pretty quickly. I talked to my doctor about all of the products, vitamins, supplements, and stuff that I was going to be taking over the next couple weeks to try to get pregnant. She didn't say that I couldn't start trying to get pregnant, but she did say that it would probably take my body 1 to 2 cycles to get back to normal. So that is kind of what I expected, and I did go into this process with the mindset that it was going to take months. I did not expect to literally get pregnant like 3 weeks after I had a miscarriage. One of the first things that we decided to do, which was really, really important, was making sure that I was taking a really good prenatal. So again, I ran all of these things past my doctor and she said that all of that was good. So the prenatal that I decided to transfer to was Care Of. None of this is sponsored. None of these products are sponsoring this video. These are all my genuine opinions and everything. So I was literally just taking like a really cheap prenatal when I got pregnant in December because like I said, we weren't like fully trying. So Once I had the miscarriage, I realized how essential it was to take a really good prenatal. My doctor told me that I needed to definitely get the recommended doses of DHA and folic acid. But this is what the little packet looks like. It comes in individual packets and you take these once a day. So in mine, I have fish oil, which contains the DHA or omega-3s. I have the 2 prenatals right here, which have all the vitamins and stuff that your baby needs to develop and everything. Something additional that I decided to take was calcium, just because I don't do a lot of dairy. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough calcium going into my body, because a lot of the superfoods that you're supposed to eat during pregnancy are mostly dairy things. So I can't eat like yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, milk and stuff like that. So I did want to make sure that I was getting enough calcium. But these have been awesome even through the first trimester, which I am now almost 12 weeks. I'll be 12 weeks in like 2 days. And I'm starting to finally feel a little bit normal again. But even through like the morning sickness and everything, I found that these vitamins weren't like extremely hard to take. So that was a good thing. Along with taking vitamins, I also made sure that my diet and everything was really good as well. I was eating really healthy. I was making sure to drink lots of water. And I also decided to basically cut out any food that you're not supposed to eat when you're pregnant already while we were trying, just because I really wanted to prep my body. And basically, I was just like in the mindset that I was already pregnant. Like that's kind of how I went into things, just being like really overly cautious. Basically, what that meant for me is not eating certain things like deli meats that can contain bacteria, raw fish, underdone meat or anything like that, like rare steak. I was just making sure to stay away from those things. I also completely cut out alcohol during this process, which these are all things that you don't have to do, but like I said, I was just playing it on the safe side, especially when you're in that 2-week wait from the time that you get a positive ovulation test until you take a pregnancy test. I just wanted to be completely cautious during that 2-week wait period, especially. Along with taking vitamins, treating my body like it was already pregnant, I also decided to take a fertility tea. This was something that I did a lot of research on, and I just thought that it would be a good idea. I've seen this fertility tea a lot at like Target and on Amazon and stuff. It's the Pink Stork brand, and I literally spent days and hours just like reading the reviews, and I saw so many people leaving reviews on how they had a miscarriage and they started this tea and they went on to have successful babies. And I'm not linking any of this stuff to necessarily getting pregnant again, but I don't know. It's just like all these things combined together, and at the time I got pregnant. So after reading lots of reviews and seeing lots of great reviews on it, I decided to give it a try. I did a lot of research and stuff on fertility tea as well. I did read a few articles that sometimes fertility tea can kind of help like strengthen and prep your body a little bit better for a baby. I did see some people say that after miscarriage, sometimes fertility tea like strengthens everything. Specifically, I think it's the red raspberry leaf tea in it kind of helps strengthen your uterus. And I also heard somebody say that it can kind of help with the implantation process. Like I said, that is the own research that I did. I did talk to my doctor about it, and she was like, yeah, I feel like that's possible, but it's not 100% like proven. Like there's no science behind it. So she was like, you're free to try that, but like I said, there's like no proof of that actually happening. So I decided to still try it. I actually don't have the tea physically anymore. I decided to actually give it to a friend who's going to start trying for a baby in a few months, so I thought she would benefit from it more than it just sitting in my cupboard right now because I don't need it anymore. So I did give it to her, so I don't have it, but I'll go ahead and insert a picture right here of what it looks like. All around, I thought it was a pretty good tea. I don't really drink a lot of teas. It was like a sweet mint flavor, and it was actually like really soothing, and I really liked it a lot. I drank it every single night, and then once I got a positive ovulation test, I stopped taking it. Don't recommend drinking it after ovulation when you're waiting to find out that you're pregnant. They recommend, I think, drinking it when you're on your period until you get to ovulation, because you're technically not supposed to drink it when you're pregnant. So I stopped drinking it the day that I got a positive ovulation test. It's also supposed to kind of help regulate your cycle as well. So I don't know if that kind of helped with my ovulation and kind of like regulating everything after my miscarriage. I'm not 100% sure, but I did ovulate 3 weeks after, and I also have late ovulation as well, so that is normal for me. Combination of all those things, vitamins, fertility tea, just being really healthy, also just being in a positive mindset as well. I just feel like after my miscarriage, like obviously it was very hard, it was very emotional, and I definitely was down about it for a little bit, but we decided to move forward, and I just wanted to surround myself with like positive energy. So I was just really like positive and optimistic about our future and everything. Yeah, it's good to go into it with a positive attitude. The next thing that I decided to do, which I have never done before, and it was actually really exciting. I first wanted to do it just to kind of understand my body a little bit more, and I definitely learned a lot more things about my body and my cycle, which was actually kind of cool. And the thing that I wanted to do was track ovulation, and this is the little kit that I bought to do that. So I got this off of Amazon. I think it was like $20. I think it comes with 50 ovulation tests and 20 pregnancy tests in here, and they're like the little strips. So I wanted to start tracking my ovulation and testing for it to really pinpoint that exact day. I also did a lot of research on how to figure out whether you're ovulating without the test strips as well, which I'm not really gonna go too much into detail. It is kind of cool to kind of figure that out and understand what's going on. With the ovulation test strips, I also downloaded an app, which I'll go ahead and put up here for you guys. It's called Prenatal. So I use that to track the ovulation and my pregnancy tests. Along with that app, I was also using the app called Flow, which I'll go ahead and insert here as well. That was the app that I used to track my period, my symptoms, and then also the days that we were trying. So that app I've actually been using for years now. I used it to track my period even before I got pregnant with Harper. I don't even know how many years I've had it. I've had it for a very, very long time. I really like that app a lot. You can also track whether you got positive ovulation tests on that as well. But the thing that I liked about Prenatal is that you can actually take a picture of the test strips. So I'll go ahead and insert that right here for you guys. You take a picture of the test strip and it'll tell you whether it's positive or negative, which was very, very helpful. It doesn't necessarily say positive or negative, but it will tell you whether it's high or low. And I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff. It was actually very, very confusing for me at first when I first took an ovulation test. I think the first time I took it, all the dates will be here so you guys can see, but the first time that I took it, I thought that it was positive. These tests are not like pregnancy tests. So if you get a line on there, it does not mean it's a positive. Whereas a pregnancy test, even if you get a faint line, that means positive. Ovulation tests are not the same. So that is where I got very, very confused. And at that point I was like, okay, I need to educate myself. I need to research. I watched a couple other people's YouTube videos on them further explaining it, and you can obviously go by the ones that say positive or negative, or I think it has a smiley face if it's positive. Those do get pretty expensive, but they are accurate and they're easier to read. These ones, what you want to see is actually the test line darker than the control line. So that is what I didn't know, or you want them to be the same color. So if they're both really, really dark and match each other, it's a positive. And if the test line is darker than the control line, it's a positive as well. You guys can see the ones where I have the faint line, those were all negative. And then on January 5th, I finally got a positive and I was so happy about it. At that point, I honestly was about to give up, and I was just I guess I'm not gonna ovulate and I'm probably gonna start my period soon. So I was about to give up. So I decided to take a test and then I got the positive. And then I actually ended up conceiving 3 days later on January 8th. But January 5th, like I said, I got that positive ovulation test. I waited 9 days past that ovulation date to start testing, so I'll go ahead and insert a picture from the app of the pregnancy test that I took. I had pretty good luck with these test strips. I didn't have any issues. So the first one I got a positive test was on January 15th. It was late at night. I took a test and it had the faint line, which you guys can see here. I decided to test again at 3 a.m., then 7 a.m., and then I think that was all the positive tests that I actually put into the app. I'll go ahead and insert a picture of the test that I took, like with my camera. I decided to test basically every day until I saw the line get stronger, and then I tested every other day. Once I got, I think, 4 positive test strips, since the line was so faint, I had such a hard time believing it. That's when I went to the store and bought the first response ones. I got a positive on there, and that's when I started to actually believe it. That was pretty much all the steps and the process that I went through to try to conceive after I had my miscarriage. Like I said, I expected this process to be a lot longer. I did stock up on the tests, I stocked up on my fertility tea, and I was ready for this to go on for months basically. I was not expecting it to take 3 weeks, so it did happen very, very quickly for me. We are extremely grateful and so happy that everything worked out the way that it did. With that being said, getting pregnant so quickly after a miscarriage, it is mentally a little bit hard because you had just gone through a miscarriage, you just lost a baby, and to get pregnant literally within weeks of that is definitely very, very hard to comprehend. At least for me it was. I had a really hard time wrapping my head around it. Like, I went from pregnant to not pregnant for a couple weeks and then pregnant again in such a short amount of time. So it was definitely very, very crazy. It was hard to process, as well as definitely a little bit scary too, because you do kind of have that fear, since you got pregnant so quickly after a miscarriage, that it's gonna happen again, or maybe your body wasn't ready. I did see quite a few articles that said that it's actually better to try to conceive pretty quickly after having a miscarriage. There's a lot of doctors that recommend within 1 to 3 months after a miscarriage, because you're more fertile and your body is already kind of prepared for that pregnancy since it just went through it. Obviously, every doctor is going to recommend different things. Most importantly, talk to your doctor, because everybody's situations are different. I know depending on how far along you were when you had a miscarriage, or if you had to have a DNC to have everything completed, doctors will recommend usually a longer period of time because your body needs to heal. And for some people, you might not be ready to mentally, and that's okay. My first one, I didn't get pregnant again for 2 years later because I just didn't want to, and that's totally fine. But yeah, that is how I got pregnant 3 weeks after I had a miscarriage. Like I said, everything that I mentioned in this video is not necessarily advice for you guys to go out and do. If you want to take things from this video, that's totally fine. But like I said, talk to your doctor, do your own research, and make sure that whatever you try is best for you. This is what was best for me. This is what worked for me. This is how I got pregnant so quickly, and everybody's story is going to be different. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. If any of you guys have gone through the same situation, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I will have all the products and everything linked below for you guys if you are interested in trying it out. Remember, talk to your doctor first. With all that being said, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!